Great game. Great game all around. I guess the biggest, what do you think the top 3 storylines are? Charlie Marlowe, go.
Top 3.
Top 3.
I think you have to throw that call in there.
Okay.
No matter how you feel about it. You know, maybe an underrated storyline. Everybody was slipping. Everybody was slipping.
The sod guy.
And I think for the Super Bowl, I'm not saying that determined the outcome of the game, but that's not how you want your championship to be determined. So for me, those two, I think you have to give it to just Pat Mahomes hobbling around and finding a way, no matter what, to get it done when, look, early on especially, the Chiefs' defense and our boy Spags, they had some big mistakes. You had 2 big penalties that allowed the Eagles to continue drives. Then you had the 3rd and 14 conversion. For a while there, the Chiefs' defense was not playing great. And, I mean, Pat Mahomes, the offense, overall, the Chiefs' defense in the second half was much better. But I do think Mahomes kind of willed that team to victory.
The Chiefs' defense almost handed that game to Philly if they would have kept playing the way that they were early. First of all, Jalen Hurts, there's nothing else to question there.
Man,
if anybody is still questioning him, it's about you, not him at this point, because that guy was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, he did everything that you could have asked to have happen there. It ended up being a tale of 2 halves with the defense for each team. So getting back to the original point, the Chiefs were over-pursuing the entire first half. I mean, they were blitzing him. He was just like, fine, if you're going to come at me like that, I'm going to run away from you. You're not going to catch me. And I was confused by that. I was like, keep him inside the pocket. Like, make him throw him, make him beat guys deep. Sure, he did it a couple times, but he's not a guy you can just say you're going to blitz all out and just take out. And I think both quarterbacks showed why you can't do that, and ultimately is why it cost the Eagles the game as well.
Did he get rocked at all, Jalen? Not really.
Not really, no.
And Patrick got caught one time, and that's when his ankle went.
The only person that got rocked was Pacheco.
Oh, God.
He got smacked by C.J. Gardner-Johnson going over the middle. I was like, he got smacked, and then Jason Kelce delivered a smack on who was that he caught? He went upfield. They were like an upfield screen almost, and Kelce just pow. I was like, this is like 95.
I like him, by the way.
Yeah, Kelce's awesome.
I like both those cats.
Both of them.
They're cool. They're cool. Yeah, but Mahomes, he just finds a way, man. It's so, like, he's so cool and calm. And then he gets injured. Everybody's like, oh, boy. But then, like, you give him a little bit of space, and he just broke away from you.
We talked about this on High Noon, I think, a couple of times now. And I said, I think that Pat Mahomes gets taken for granted how great he actually is. Because he's at the point now where he's at the I'm not betting against him zone. And he's only, 27. Like, usually that's, early 30s Jordan, Tom Brady at that point. Already, you shouldn't bet against Mahomes because with one leg, he just carried them through 3 stages of the playoffs, and it shouldn't have been in doubt.
And even though Jalen Hurts did play fantastic, so I'm not trying to say, hey, they lost because of Jalen Hurts. You also can't ignore he had one massive mistake.
Yeah.
When you give the other team, that was a straight giveaway.
Here you go.
He just straight fumbled the football.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't caused. Our guy Nick Bolton from Mizzou.
MIZ, baby.
Scoops and scores. So, again, as great as he played, like that first half, you could make the case the Eagles should have been up 17. I mean, the way they were dominating from yardage and time of possession. So, Jalen Hurts played fantastic, but look, you lost by 3. You gave them 7.
Well, and also I think that
was the biggest mistake of the entire game. And I know, look, he came back and played great, but you can't ignore that.
Yeah. Well, how much do you think that – I agree with you. That field situation was just gross. It was terrible.
The sod guy, he was getting praised before the game, too.
So, yeah, they wrote – it's a $800,000 field. I'm like, is it? Really? You could have come played in my backyard for
Slip
this.
and slide, dude.
How much do you think that contributed to the Eagles not being able to play the game they usually play, though? Because, I mean, they're a run-first, short yardage, run-the-clock game. I don't think they had a running back that touched 30 yards. It was all Hurts. And I don't think that was by design.
Well, I think they dominated time of possession with just kind of some screen passes and whatnot. Like they threw the ball almost in extended runs type plays. You know what I'm saying? Which I think that's a lot of the NFL now. Brady's done that for years, where a lot of Brady's passes little screens, little slants, little bubble screens. That's a way to almost have an extended handoff.
Yeah, Eagles running backs yesterday, Kenneth Gainwell, 7 carries, 21 yards. Miles Sanders, 7 carries, 16 yards. Boston Scott, 3 carries, 8 yards. Jalen Hurts, 15 for 70 yards and 3 touchdowns.
So 45 total rushing yards between 3 running backs, and then Jalen Hurts was 70.
Yep.
He good.
Guess who took 49 yards under for Jalen Hurts and took 45 yards over for Miles Sanders?
This guy right here.
That would be me.
Didn't have that smile when you walked in. I know. Nate, what are you thinking back there? What's your take on everything?
I'm thinking Patrick Mahomes is unreal. The legendary performance against the Bengals in the AFC Championship game on one leg, and then to sort of have the setback or whatever it was on the tackle last night when he went down, and it looked like towards the end of the first half that who knew? I mean, at that point, they came back from break and they were talking about they had 3 different options. Mahomes not being able to do anything on that leg, Mahomes being able to be Mahomes, and then potentially even Chad Henne.
Oh.
So all 3 options, I think, were discussed. Now, some of that might just be like broadcast talk and creating a storyline, but the dude is a magician. And when he gets the ball, you never know what he's going to do. And I said all along, I thought that the Eagles were going to be a really obvious challenge for the Chiefs. I thought they were going to be a good team. But you might recall me saying they hadn't played many tight games.
Nah, I know you did.
And I think it proved in a tight game, Andy Reid is a hell of a head coach. And when you win, you're second as a head coach, is third overall as a coach in the National Football League. You put yourself in a different, little different
category.
Yeah, I think so.
He is something, man. You're right, dude. That Patrick, he just finds ways. It's unbelievable.
If I would have told you that the Chiefs are going to win this game 38-35, first of all, blowing past the over in the process, but Pat Mahomes is only going to throw for 182 yards, it was going to be how? Yeah. How'd you work out? How'd you get to that point? The scoop and score was a gift. Because, the
gift that keeps on giving.
Like those wings I ate last night. But, he's I'm sorry, Hurts was rolling when he had that fumble. That was just such a momentum shift and threw the entire thing off. Because, that pass to A.J. Brown early on was incredible. They were out there cooking. Dallas Goedert made some incredible catches over the middle. And Hurts just, that push they've got, where I don't know how I feel about that, where you just basically stand in the middle and 4 guys shove you over the line of scrimmage. I don't know how I feel about that.
But Reggie Bush rule.
It was unstoppable. They had all the momentum in the world, but it was keeping Mahomes off the field because when you had that fumble, it just gave you another 5-minute possession on the other side of it. The Chiefs' offense wasn't on the field for 25 minutes, I think, at one point. And they still win.
And that's the thing. By the way, Hurts played great after the fumble. He did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's just you can't ignore that.
Inches of miles in the Super Bowl.
You can't ignore that's 7 points. And even if they wouldn't have scored and then the Chiefs get the ball, when you score that quickly, it changes everything. It changes the clock. It changes everything when you get a gift touchdown in 4 seconds.
I was trying to find it. The Eagles had the ball for 35 minutes, 47 seconds compared to 24-13 for the Chiefs. They outgained the Chiefs in total yards by 417 to 340. It had 4 more first downs. But the turnover, the Chiefs took care of the ball.
That's what it is, man.
They didn't get sacked. They didn't throw any picks. They did what they were supposed to do. Now, we can talk about that hold, which Bradbury stepped up and said, hey, I hope they just wouldn't get it. Because honestly,
he held them 3 times.
If you watch a football game, you can call a penalty on every play.
That's true.
But you can't do that to the guy that's got the play on him because all eyes are on him. That's going to be picked up.
Yeah.
Think about it. 14 points on 5 offensive yards, if you really think about it, with the scoop and score, which, by the way, was the first Mizzou player, Nick Bolton, to get a touchdown.
I figured
in
as
the
much,
Super Bowl.
Unfortunately.
A defensive player.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, he was the first Mizzou player to get a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
What were the odds on that, being a defensive touchdown, the first touchdown in the history of a university?
Well, that's my next question is anybody lose big? Anybody big
lose.
winners?
I didn't lose
not
big.
you guys, but you hear any stories?
Yes. There were $4 million plus bets on the Eagles to win. There was $2.25 million I saw on the Eagles money line, I think.
Seth, did you say somebody lost 100G. What'd they do again?
I don't know the exact total, but there was
I
a guy,
like negativity.
on Barstool betted over 100K that there would be no doinks in the game.
Yeah,
and it was the first attempt.
Where do you even find that at?
And it's one of those classic 120K to win 10 grand or something like that. The odds were ridiculously in his favor.
Yeah, man. There's some crazy gambling going on, like little things like that.
We went to another level with gambling this year, though. I mean, it went to another place because there were like 2,000 prop bets that you could find,
really?
Just dicing it together, going to different stuff. And I'm talking about more than just your Gatorade, what color that's going to be, which they didn't show on the broadcast.
Purple.
It ended up being purple.
That grape drink.
But it was, I put a bet in for my wife for that. She did red, pink. I think she said pink. I said, I think that's going to be red.
Yeah.
I said, well, I got bad news for you. It's never been that color, so we'll see what's going on.
Good old purple Gatorade.
Her rationale,
Damn, good.
She picked it up because it's Valentine's Day. I was like, oh.
Is today Valentine's Day?
No, it's tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus.
Tomorrow. Get yourself together.
Yay.
So did you have a problem with the call?
No. I was listening to LeVar on the way over here, too, and Brady Quinn, and they're like, no, man, like if you really break it down, the guy held him 3 different times. That sucks. I hate seeing that. I hate seeing that.
I thought the game was called so well. And by the way, that was a hold. The one issue, which isn't really the officials on the field's fault, is we're getting back to the whole Calvin Johnson thing where it's just, if you really slow-mo every catch, you can almost find a way to take every catch and say that's not a catch, right? Like, both of those, you're like, oh, they're so 50-50, and okay, you kind of double catch it once, and you fall to the ground.
Was your foot in?
Well, you use the ground a little bit, but does that really change what happened? So that's not really the officials on the field's call. I think that's, like, this whole process of the catch thing, it's still really hard to define. I just think that was my only officiating issue the entire game until the end there, and I do think it was a foul. I just felt like that was just a little ticky-tack-ish.
Yeah.
For the game. Now, listen, I think the Chiefs still would have won, but I think for that call to not even allow the Eagles to have a chance to tie, I just thought, little ticky-tack
for
the way the game was called for 59 minutes.
Well, you know what it was?
I hear you on that.
It was the script. They had to stick close to the game script to make sure that it was going to play.
Are they still talking about that? Do people really think that?
Oh, God, yeah. Every team that loses now thinks there's a script.
How's Philly doing? I just want to know how the Philly people are doing in that psycho town. I heard they were flipping cars, a couple stabbings here and there. I don't know if
that was like Tuesday, though.
That is true.
That wasn't last night.
Well, so they lost. They've had some tough losses in the past 5 months. Even their soccer team, I think, lost in the finals.
The Phillies went to the series.
I saw a tweet about the scripted score where it said, "Hey man, can I copy your homework?" And it says, "Yeah, just don't make it look too obvious."
Do people think that though, or is it just like funny, goofy?
Well, you tell us. You're the one that had this. You're the one that played pro ball. What did your script say?
Oh God, Cam, go fight that guy and get a concussion.
And when you got that script, how'd you feel?
I felt concussed.
All right, there it is.
I don't know, man. No, I mean, you can't. That's so impossible to do. Like, I think maybe there's some refs that are favorable for some people, maybe. I would say that. That's human nature.
There's a Netflix special on that.
I mean, you want to talk to Timmy Peel, like sometimes you favor a guy because he's good to you. I don't know.
The script for next year is out. It's got the Chiefs at plus 600 favorites to repeat.
Oh, really?
Followed by the Bills at plus 700, the 49ers at plus 8, and the Bengals and Eagles at plus 9.
I was never a big rule guy. I called what I knew.
We got to get him back on, actually. What else happened last night? How are the commercials?
I liked the dog commercial. Was that for Amazon? Remember the dog was ripping up the house? You thought they were going to take the dog to the kennel or put him in the crate. They end up getting the second dog. That's the only one that I really felt like was good, to be honest with you.
That commercial caused a lot of outrage in my house from everybody that was watching it.
The doggy one?
Because it took the swerve on them. They're like, you put that damn dog into that cage. If he ripped a hole in the side of your recliner, that dog was insane.
Yeah.
And then it took the swerve, and everybody in my house was like, "Hell no!"
That's crate time.
Yeah, they're like, at least it was almost Old Yeller time. If you're doing all that to my house.
Oh man.
Also, Jesus had a large budget.
Jesus took
Jesus
a
had a
big
commercial?
A big,
I think two of them.
Yeah, Jesus had a commercial.
Big budget
So
commercial.
he's got
Jesus.
coin.
He should.
He's got
If
coin.
You think if he took care of stuff over these years, he should be all right.
If all those wealthy guys are kicking up to the man.
Yeah,
you
no
know,
kidding.
what's that guy's name that didn't help anybody in the hurricane? What's his
Olstein.
name? Yeah, Joel Olstein. I see his billboards everywhere that cost out the ass.
What commercial?
So is there a lot of like Jesus Saves commercials? Is that what you're saying?
I think there were
I thought the
two.
Will Ferrell one was good. When they're in the car.
I thought the Tubi one was hilarious. 'Cause
That was good.
It got me. I was
everybody-
like, "What is this? This isn't even on my TV."
Like, is someone sitting on the remote?
Yeah. The Flash trailer got a lot of people excited because it had the old school Batman back in the mix.
Oh, by the way, now I had seen this before, but that Air Jordan movie.
Yeah.
So my wife showed me the trailer.
Yeah.
So it's Matt Damon as that Sonny Vaccaro. It's Ben Affleck as Phil Knight. It's basically finding Jordan and starting the Jordan brand. And that trailer commercial last night was pretty sweet.
I missed that too.
Yeah, I look forward to that. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge shoe aficionado, so I love that one. But I love how it's all around him, and then like you just see the silhouette of Jordan coming in. And I was like, oh, this is going to be nice.
Is it a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah.
And it's called Finding Jordan.
It's called Air.
Air.
My wife showed me the trailer a couple days ago before the Super Bowl, but it looks good.
Anything about him?
I think is it Chris Tucker in there too?
I don't know.
Viola Davis.
Yeah, I saw Viola because Viola Davis is playing his mom.
But he's playing Jordan.
They didn't show. They just showed like his silhouette, like a guy, like tall.
Who's that
guy
gonna
walking
be?
in? I don't know. Maybe it's CGI Michael Jordan. You don't know.
You don't know.
Anybody could be in a movie now.
That's a tough one to play, man.
Yeah, you can't just play.
That'd be
Michael
cool to
Jordan.
play Michael Jordan. I'm gonna play Michael Jordan in this movie.
You are.
Like, imagine that whoever that is.
If
they're
I
like,
could think of people to cast,
if
yeah.
somebody got picked, they're like, I'm a good athlete.
Well,
Like, you know,
it's
you got to be a good athlete.
They told a little bit of that story on the Laker show that was on HBO last fall too, Showtime, because it was about they kind of had a decision between who you're going to go for, Magic Johnson, and they didn't get Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson ended up going with Converse, and then Nike ended up building it around Jordan later on because he didn't take the Nike offer.
Wow.
Well, what I saw too is that when Nike's doing this deal, like Nike isn't anything.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
NBA was all about Converse
Yep.
at the time. It was all
That's right.
about cons.
That's right.
Bird.
Dr. J.
Yeah.
Bird.
Magic.
And he rolled the dice. I was like, yeah, okay. Damn. I'll watch that.
Michael Jordan, the most bankable athlete of all time by far.
How was the Rihanna, who I love, by the way. I think she's cool as hell.
Put me in a compromising situation.
It was very. I didn't know if I liked it. I don't know if I liked it.
I was in a tough spot because I was like, Rihanna's not moving around very much.
She ain't moving.
She
I
ain't
wanted her to
moving
move
around a
around.
whole lot. And then I looked and I was like, oh, she's pregnant.
She's pregnant. Oh,
But then
I mean,
in my
that's
mind,
cute, but it's like
I'm in the room. My wife's right there. First of all, it's very hard to watch a Rihanna performance while your wife is right there because I had thoughts and takeaways.
Did you have thoughts last night watching that?
I had thoughts, takeaways, and feelings.
I didn't know what to think. And her clothes were kind of baggy, real baggy. I don't know.
I mean, I'm
I'm
glad.
just telling you.
I'm glad that
everybody's
she-
like, that was the best. I'm like, she didn't even do anything.
Well, my one of my friends that was there, and he looked out at her on that platform. I was like, was she connected to anything up there? He said, not the second time. She was just standing on that thing.
I know. She
And
was
I was like, there's no way in hell.
she's like rubbing her tummy and stuff and not moving around. I'm like, oh.
I mean, but still.
I love her.
I mean,
Like,
but-
she's awesome.
but
I love
still.
her songs are great. I just thought
great
people
singer.
are pumping it up, and I just said, I didn't think it was that good. That's
Rihanna's
all.
she's one of the great singers of our time, first of all.
Nate, did you see Jackson Mahomes? I saw him do a couple TikToks behind his brother. It was pretty
I did
funny.
not.
he showed his face afterwards.
Is there a family that's
Jackson Mahomes.
that's more it's got more character in it than that one?
I don't know.
Because Pat Mahomes Sr. has become maybe my favorite retired
cool.
baseball player on earth.
He played baseball?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
professionally?
Yeah, he's pitched
Oh,
for like
wow.
15 years. or something. Yeah.
Wow.
He was back when there was
I
like
should have known that.
when there was like 3 black pitchers in baseball. He was one of the 3.
Wow.
It was
He
him,
looks like he's got some swag.
it was him, Tom Gordon, and Dave Stewart in the 80s. That's it. But
I just think I look at
me, OJ Mahomes.
I look at Pat. He just is so much different than even his dad and Jackson. Like he's just
The thing
he's just a good dude. I don't know. Just says the right thing.
The thing I love about Pat Mahomes Sr. is that I know like 15 guys like that, like is a part of my regular life. And he's walking down the thing last night, and they're like, "What are you smoking tonight, Pat?" He's like, "Oh, we're smoking Phillies tonight."
Yeah,
I was like,
that was
there it
Philly
is.
blunts.
Philly blunts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you smoking blunts?
No, but that's what he said.
Oh, that's cool.
Well,
Damn.
That might
okay.
have been part of my
Maybe
Super Bowl
later.
story.
I really like him now. He's like, you know what? Walks around. He's like, yep, I created that. That $500 million player. Yeah, I created that.
That's
a good
out of
feeling.
me. But you
That's
also,
me.
but you
I
also
created-
created Jackson. So is he?
I know.
Do you get the same points
Well,
for
you
creating both of them?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jackson probably makes some money off his social media.
He did a TikTok right behind Patrick when Patrick is just so humble and he's just like talking about his teammates, and afterwards he's holding the stuff, and in the background Jackson's just doing this little TikTok dance.
Well, they probably had a deal.
This is so funny.
Patrick said, "Look, Jackson, just don't do anything until we win the Super Bowl, and then do whatever you want."
Then you could do whatever you want.
What did he do last night? Like,
Probably like yelled at people for not giving them their drink.
hey, man, do the Chiefs look like a fun team to hang out with after they win?
I think
Yes.
so.
Kelsey
And those guys?
Kelsey's awesome.
I don't know. I don't know much about the rest of the guys.
Kelsey's awesome, and Kelsey also, I didn't realize this, he has a hold on the female black community as well.
Oh, really?
He has a grasp on them.
Like they love him?
They love him.
They love him.
Love him. I think it's
Good
because
for
he
him.
goes. I think it's because he goes to the same barber as me.
Does he?
He's definitely got the same. He's got same lining.
Yeah,
He's got
he
a
does.
fade. He's got the whole thing.
Yeah, now I think about it, he does. 'Cause
Yeah.
His brother's got long hair.
His brother. It's like they're two different human beings.
I like his brother
basically.
too, man. He
They're
seems
both
like
awesome.
a cool. He doesn't seem like a big guy.
They're awesome.
Is he that big?
Yeah, he's a center in the NFL. He's
He'll
got
be
to
pretty
big
athletic
enough.
to be a center, though.
He moves around quick. I feel like he gets up and down the field.
I think he's gonna hang it up too.
Morning, fellas. Chiefs are champs. F the doubters. F the haters. Mahomes is him.
Okay, but hold on.
Well, he is.
This
has
doubters,
risen.
this doubters haters thing. Which, by the way, I understand if you're the team, you have to manufacture this motivation. But Travis Kelce now, who I love, by the way, but for a couple weeks, acting like nobody thought the Chiefs were going to be good. Okay, you lost Tyreek Hill. I mean, weren't they still? They were one of the favorites.
Yeah,
the entire year.
You're the number one seed, 16-3.
You have the greatest quarterback in the league, who's going to be up there all
coach.
time. But like to act like everybody counted us out.
Is that what he said?
Well,
That's what they're
twice
acting
in a row, he's kind of playing that card.
You
which
guys
I
are
get.
loaded.
I get.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Now, I get that when the stupid ass mayor comes out, doesn't even know about any sort of probably athletics, and he's chirping like, "Get on with yourself."
I have a deep love for Travis Kelce. I think that he's entertaining.
Oh, for sure.
He cashes all of his bets every week, which is also a quick way for me to have a true love for you. He went over last night and got in the end zone. Cha-ching. But yeah, I mean, it's creating a chip because you can't be the number one seed who's been to the Super Bowl 3 times in the past 5 years and then say, "Oh, nobody believes in us." There's a lot of money
calm
said
down.
otherwise last night.
Nobody believes. Yeah, the story's good. It's all you don't have to say that. No, people believe.
And guess what? People are going to believe in you
They
for the
will-
next
10
7
years,
years while
exactly.
Pat Mahomes is still there.
Yeah, cut that.
I also thought, and don't get me wrong, I'm all about it because I love good comedy. But Terry Bradshaw really had some fun with Andy Reid on the podium there. He's like, "Come on, big guy, why don't you waddle on over here?
Oh, Jesus.
Get
He's
yourself a
losing it a little
cheeseburger."
bit.
I just wish.
But like he's like, "Waddle on over here."
Good God. Fat shaming.
Right.
I got fat shamed at QT the other day.
Who's the guy? You got fat shamed?
Yeah.
You've been having a lot of issues.
I
Of
know.
late.
This construction worker fat shamed me. You hungry, fella? I'm like, Jesus.
Were you? Well, were you?
Yeah, I kind of was. I had
Okay.
15 donuts for the guys.
All right. Well,
What an ass he was. But yeah, Bradshaw's losing a little bit too, man. Like, there's a lot of like little clips
Listen.
that you pop up, and he's just like,
you know, when you go to the bullpen, you go out there, you put the right arm up, like, give me the righty, give me the lefty. I'm ready to walk onto the Fox set and just say, basically, let's just bring Gronk in to be this guy.
Just let him do.
This is who Terry Bradshaw
Get him
was,
out
who Gronk is now, and who
Yeah.
he's getting set up to be like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
How long have they been doing that show now? I mean, Bradshaw's been on there
Long
since
time.
I was in like middle school.
I mean, is he pushing 80?
He's got to be. He's probably kicked 80 over. He's in the Corso zone.
I
at
still
this
like
point.
Howie Long. I like Howie Long. He had a nice little thing about him and his boys and all that stuff.
Oh man,
Like what a family that is.
when you talk about good genes. The Kelsey,
Oh, my
the
God.
Kelseys, Howie Long.
Howie Long,
Howie Long created a couple monsters too.
Yes.
The Matthews,
Yeah,
monsters, monster factory
Jeez
there.
Louise.
And then Mahomes.
Great hair,
So,
too.
You know.
Yeah, you strut around, dude.
Yeah.
Your son's out there.
Who's peacocking the most? Archie Manning, Howie Long.
Jackson, probably. That's today's his day.
No, I'm talking about creating great athletes. No, you're right. Jackson Mahomes probably peacocking around.
He's
picking everybody.
peacocking. It's his day.
He
did his
He's
thing.
probably doing like the opening scene of like Smoking Aces. He's in a hotel suite.
Oh,
Got some
man.
parties spread out across it.
Yeah, I didn't. Besides, the refs didn't get it. They're not getting chirped. The sod was goofy as hell. I think he was bragging about the sod guy, and all of a sudden they go out there and just sliding over the damn place.
That was the worst
That was
field
really
I've ever
weird.
seen in the Super Bowl ever.
That was really
Terrible.
weird.
And the thing is, you noticed it changed the way some guys played. Like A.J. Brown was going for cuts and foot sliding out from underneath him. Jake Elliott almost killed himself doing just a standard kickoff after. I was like, God, what do you got to do to stop this? Like, they've been complaining about fields all year. The thing I got confused about, is that the field they've been asking for?
I don't know.
Or is that the one that they've had the issue with?
Well, on the broadcast, they said it was complained about first week of the season. That's that field where they have it basically outside of the stadium during the week. Like, you can have that basically, it retracts isn't the right word, but it basically is on a machine that puts it outside of the stadium, so it's exposed to the
It
elements.
gets the sun, and then
Yeah.
they bring it in and they bring it out. They said they spent $800K on that field. $800K.
You know what's wild is that's Harrison Butker got injured on that field the first week of the season when the Chiefs were in Arizona to play. So
And that PTSD had cost them to miss a field goal in the first half
Could have.
and killed a parlay for me, which
Ooh.
was each team to have a touchdown and a field goal in each half of the game.
Just gambling machine.
George Toma is the name of the groundskeeper. He's 94 years old, and he has prepared 37 Pro Bowl fields, several World Series, and every single Super Bowl field in history.
Maybe
So,
it's time to get him a watch and send him
Now
along.
he's 94.
94. They call him the Sod Father.
Yeah, the
I'm
sod
sorry.
father.
I'm sorry.
He's getting beaked hardcore right now by people.
Yeah.
90, how do you do anything at 94?
It's been
How do you have any
84
responsibility at
years.
that age?
I mean, I
Are you
doubt
kidding?
he's actually doing it. I'm guessing that he's just the architect.
Yeah, I don't know.